I wanted to show you really quick how I dry my new silicone mermaid tail that has a ton of fins. This is my new tail, Rebellion. Unlike my other tail, I cannot roll the silicone down to get as much of the inside exposed to the air as possible, so I had to use a different technique, and it's been working really, really well, and I want to share it with you in case you are struggling with drying your silicone mermaid tail with fins galore. If you want instructions on how to clean your tail, look below in the description box. I'll have tons of resources there for you about everything silicone mermaid tail related. Let's get started. What you are about to see is both horrifying and horrifying. This is my grotto. Right now it is a mess. It's usually a mess in the summer because I'm always swimming and I'm always drying something. And this is basically where all my business stuff is. So small business in a very small space, about 10 by 10. It's not much room. Also the workout space. I'm going to show you what I do to initially drain the tail before I dry it. But what I'll do is I will stack up a bunch of stuff on my couch. Since I do not have room for a tail rack, nobody uses this couch. This is where the mermaid tails live. So I have some blankets stacked up over there, and the goal is to get my fluke of my tail as close to being vertical as possible. That way all the water will drain out, and I'll show you what I do to catch the water in just a second. So let's prop up Rebellion, grab the fluke. This creates a nice little water slide. And I'm gonna take another one of these pillows and prop it up some more. And now we're almost at a vertical angle, so all the water is going to come out here. Normally I wouldn't have a pool noodle stuck in it at this point, but it's kind of there right now. So this is the first step. First thing you do right after you swim, prop up your tail after you've rinsed it out or washed it out really good, of course. Prop it up, and then we're going to take some towels, lots of towels that are clean and dry, and we are going to shove these towels up into the tail. Again, this isn't normally there. I probably should take it out. I'm gonna take it swimming soon though, so I'll mess that later, but just kind of shove the towels in there. That way any water that comes out will be caught. I also will sometimes put another towel underneath the opening of my silicone tail in case anything comes out, so I don't get that nasty moldy and mildew smell. Another quick tip, if you would like to help prevent the nasty smell of mold and mildew and help keep things dry in your mermaid grotto, is get yourself damp rid. I use this, you just hang it somewhere and it helps grab moisture from the air. It's beautiful. You can also get a dehumidifier for your space too, since mermaid grottos tend to be moist. We are now going to flash forward a couple of hours and pretend that it is the next day, preferably the morning. So this is what you do before you go to bed. Make sure everything drains, give it a couple of hours, and then in the morning, what you'll do, which is now morning, congratulations, good morning. You go in, you take your towels out, they should be nice and wet. You can get another towel that is dry, pretend this is our other towel, reach in as far as you can inside of your tail to try to dry out as much as you can. You might need a couple of towels to do this. Once it is relatively dry, you can use some antibacterial wipes. This is the kind I use here. I don't use them all the time, just when I feel like I need them. Now that you've done your best to dry your tail manually, we are going to use a very high-powered fan to finish the job. So this is the part that is specifically for mermaids who have a lot of fins, because normally when you have a silicone mermaid tail that doesn't have a ton of fins, you can roll it inside out. But this tail, I can't do that because the fins are in the way, and if I try to roll it inside out, it's going to mess up my fins and possibly damage the tail. So in order to make sure that the entire part of the tail gets dried out, we're gonna do a little something special. Let's dive in. For this next step, we are going to take some pillows. So the first thing you need to do is set up your space. I like to take 1 pillow to 2 pillows. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Use what you have on hand. I apologize for being hyper. We're going swimming soon. I'm so excited. So build yourself a nice pillow fort. This is where the fluke of your tail will rest. Grab your silicone beast. Oops. And all the blankets. fluke on the pillows. Lay out your tail and adjust it as necessary. As you can see here, I have a pool noodle shoved up into my silicone tail as far as it will go. This is to help encourage airflow, and it has another purpose which you'll see in just a second, so stay tuned. Now we need to set up our fan. So what I want you to do is take a towel. This is a very old one, obviously. It is clean, it just doesn't look like it is. Fold it in half a couple of times, and then fold it again like this, and we're going to create a base for our fan to sit on. And in a second, I'm going to show you the beast of a fan that I use. As you can see on my yoga mat, there are indents all over. This fan is no joke, but it is made for drying things really well, and it is going to ensure that you don't ever get any mold in your silicone tail, even if you can't roll it down. All right, so this fan, as I said, is no joke. This thing weighs a ton. This is a portable high velocity fan that is made for drying out drywall. And what we're going to do is set it up here. I'm gonna get it as close to the opening of my tail as possible. And I have it tilted downward slightly, as you can see. I'm going to stick the pool noodle over top. Let's zoom out so you can see. So I have the pool noodle over top of the fan here. A thing about this fan is it is very expensive, but it will make sure that your mermaid tail, which is even more expensive, will stay in ship shape, and you don't have to worry about mold growth because this thing does an excellent job drying things out. I'm going to plug this in now. This fan is extremely high powered. I only use the low setting. I never use the high setting. That's because it is OP, overpowered. It's insane. It's very noisy. You're going to hear it definitely when I plug it in. Before I plug it in though, I want to mention that you will need, or at least it's recommended that you have, a specific sort of outlet, which I'll put right here, that you plug this into. That way it doesn't cause any electrical issues, because this is so high powered, it can like short things out and mess things up. So you don't ever want to put it in like one of those power strips that has multiple hookups. You want to plug it in directly to an outlet that has a specific name that I'll link here. Double check with your local dad for more information. All right, I'm going to plug this in, and you're going to see this tail puff up. So let me change the angle really quick. And just to prove how high powered this is the pool noodle. It has a hole in it. The air is going through the tail, and it's coming back out of the pool noodle. Insane. Ignore the messy prop stuff in the background and the wigs and camera gear, but that is how I dry my new silicone mermaid tail that has a ton of fins. I will do this every morning for about a week after a swim, just to ensure that everything's dried out. And I'll only run the fan for about 2 hours a day, maybe 3, and I never run it when nobody's home, and I check on it every hour. I set a little timer so I can go and check on it. And something else I'll do is still after I run the fan at night, or as soon as I'm done running the fan, I will hoist my tail back up into the vertical position so that it can drain more water if anything's trapped. And halfway through the week, I will flip the tail over so that the dorsal fin is pointing up in case there's anything stuck underneath the monofin that needs to get out. So this has been my tutorial on how to dry a silicone mermaid tail that has a lot of fins. I hope you found it very helpful. If you did, please share it with a friend that could make use of this. And also check out the other tutorials in the description box below about silicone mermaid tail cleaning, silicone mermaid tail repairs, commonly asked questions about silicone mermaid tails, me swimming in my tails, whatever. I'll see you next Friday.